Hello and welcome to State Focus, our once-a-week in-depth look behind some of the stories making news across the ACT, Southern and Central New South Wales. My name's Phil Lynch, in the chair this week as we take a look at plans for a third force in ACT politics to break the Liberal-Labor stronghold. We'll take a look at preparations for Canberra's centenary. Still 5 years away, but plans are advancing very quickly. Capitals coach Carrie Graff will be joining us for a chat about the basketball season that finished a couple of weeks ago, just short of a grand final appearance for her team this year. But first up to the story that's rocked Wollongong and been reported around the world. The Independent Commission Against Corruption's decision to recommend the sacking of the Wollongong City Council following a series of scandals. A scandal that's involved sexual favours, cases of whiskey, wine and who knows what else being traded between the most senior council staff and developers, involving hundreds of millions of dollars in property development. It's an embarrassment for the city of Wollongong and most importantly its people. We're joined in our Wollongong studio by former Independent Councillor Dave Martin. Dave Martin, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Just saying former Independent Councillor, it must not sit well with you.
Well, it's been a devastating blow not only to the city but to our more than 1,200 staff members who work for the council and those 9 former independents who, up until very recently, formed the basis of what we believe was a very good council. These claims have shocked and dismayed and embarrassed us, and the people of Wollongong are feeling extremely betrayed by those people who put their trust in them to look after their city.
Now, you brought a lot of this on. I'm not saying that you're responsible for any of it, but you got the process going to make sure that this was investigated properly. When you did that, did you think it might end up with the sacking of council?
Well, I don't think any one of us knew the potential that we were about to unleash. While we're delighted in one sense that the corruption has been brought right out in the open, and we're hoping that those who perpetrated this betrayal actually face the full weight of the law following the recommendations from ICAC and their consideration by the Director of Prosecutions. It's going to take a long time for Wollongong to get over this, for the people to re-establish some confidence in the council processes, and unfortunately their participation in civil and civic life is going to be limited because of the emplacement of an administrator.
Yes, that's probably going to go on for quite some time because there were council's elections scheduled for September, but that's probably not going to happen in Wollongong now.
Our best guess is that it's going to be about 4.5 years before there's a return to normalcy and a return to democratic elections.
Dave Martin, what does this mean to the people in Wollongong? I mean, I was travelling last week overseas and I came across a group of Australians and there were some people there from Wollongong who said, we're from Wollongong, and other people laughed at them. Now, it was embarrassing for them and I felt for them, but that's the sort of thing that's being felt in Wollongong right now, isn't it?
It's extraordinarily embarrassing, and people are very, very angry that that their trust has been betrayed. And I should, just to put some perspective on it, say that at this point in time we believe that it's 4 councillors, 4 council staff out of 1,200 and 4 developers. Some of these claims have been almost unbelievable in the scope and the extent of the level of corruption that's been involved. And it's to be hoped that that the lessons learned from this stay in people's memories for a long time.
Speaking of a long time, you've been involved in public office there for 25 years now. How long is it going to take, do you think? I guess it's a tough question to answer, but for Wollongong to recover from this?
Well, I'm hoping that once the administrator is appointed, people will have a lot more confidence and faith in those planning processes. The new General Manager, David Farmer, has already started that process of reform. I would hope that in 6 months we're starting to get some confidence back. This is a really beautiful place with wonderfully feisty people and very resilient people. So in the longer term that confidence will return. But unfortunately Wollongong's faced these sort of issues in the past and it does take some time to recover.
Dave Martin, I can remember, when you said wonderful then, you reminded me of Frank Arkell. I mean, the number of times wonderful, wonderful Wollongong used to come from his lips, and he really promoted Wollongong, and plenty of people since. There's been a lot of money spent on the promotion of Wollongong. All of that money's seemingly gone down the gurgler somewhat.
Well, it is a great place, and it will remain a great place. It will take some time to recover. Those healing processes are inevitably much longer term. But I'm confident with the quality of the people who are administering the council. Just remember that there are 4 people involved who've wrought this havoc on the city, 4 of our staff. They've long gone, and we have commenced that process of rebuilding.
Now, you were probably about 6 months away from becoming mayor, because as we've learned, Alex Darling said he wasn't going to run at the next elections, and he was almost anointing you. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm disappointed that my contribution to civic life's been interrupted. I'm not going to predict the future. It would have been up to the people of Wollongong to judge those performances of the current councillors. One of the great losses is that some of the young talent that existed on the council, Alice Carton, Andrew Anthony, Carolyn Griffiths, their opportunity has now gone too. But hopefully those people will return in some form, and they'll be able to demonstrate that right through this process that they've played their role with integrity and with honesty, and recognise that apart from doing their bit to raise these sort of issues, that it's largely up until this point in time fallen upon deaf ears. It's taken the considerable and drastic powers of ICAC with phone tapping, ability to seize computer hard drives, all that sort of very, very heavy investigation work to unearth this.
Now, 4.5 years perhaps till elections. Are you prepared to wait that long?
Well, as we've seen, a week or 2 is a very, very long time in politics. 4 years is an eternity, so I can't make any predictions about what's going to happen that far into the future, Philip.
Well, might we say, if we don't see you in public life again, congratulations on what you've been able to achieve. I'm sure you didn't want to go out this way, but thanks for joining us today on State Focus.
Thanks, Philip. It's been a pleasure.
Well, Dave Martin there in Wollongong.